Welcome to the Louvre Museum. In today's video, we'll take you inside this breathtaking palace of art and history right in the heart of Paris, focusing in the must-see exhibitions. From the famous Mona Lisa to hidden gems you might miss, whether you're planning a visit or just want to experience the wonders of the Louvre from home, let's dive into the masterpieces, the architecture, and the secrets of this amazing museum. Let's get started.
The museum is housed in the Louvre Palace, originally built in the late 12th to 13th century under Philip II. Remnants of the medieval Louvre fortress are visible in the basement of the museum. Due to urban expansion, the fortress eventually lost its defensive function, and in 1546, Francis I converted it into the primary residence of the French kings.
The building was redesigned and extended many times to form the present Louvre Palace. In 1682, Louis XIV chose the Palace of Versailles for his household, leaving the Louvre primarily as a place to display the royal collection, including, from 1692, a collection of ancient Greek and Roman sculpture.
In 1692, the building was occupied by the Academy of Inscriptions and Belles-Lettres and the Royal Academy of Painting and Sculpture, which in 1699 held the first of a series of salons. The Academy remained at the Louvre for 100 years. During the French Revolution, the National Assembly decreed that the Louvre should be used as a museum to display the nation's masterpieces.
The museum opened on August 10, 1793, with an exhibition of 537 paintings, the majority of the works being royal and confiscated church property. Because of structural problems with the building, the museum was closed from 1796 until 1801. The collection was increased under Napoleon, after the Napoleonic looting of art in Europe, Egypt and Syria, and the museum was renamed Musée Napoleon. But after Napoleon's abdication, many works seized by his armies were returned to their original owners.
The collection was further increased during the reigns of Louis XVIII and Charles X, and during the Second French Empire the museum gained 20,000 pieces. Holdings have grown steadily through donations and bequests since the Third Republic. The collection is divided among 8 curatorial departments: Egyptian antiquities, Near Eastern antiquities, Greek, Etruscan, and Roman antiquities, Islamic art, sculpture, decorative arts, paintings, prints and drawings.
This is the Winged Victory of Samothrace, or the Nike of Samothrace.
Here, we are in the Dean and Wing, Level 1, Room 711, the Mona Lisa Room.
The Mona Lisa is a half-length portrait painting by Italian artist Leonardo da Vinci. Considered an archetypal masterpiece of the Italian Renaissance, it has been described as the best known, the most visited, the most written about, the most sung about, and the most parodied work of art in the world. The painting's novel qualities include the subject's enigmatic expression, monumentality of the composition, the subtle modeling of forms, and the atmospheric illusionism.
Oh yeah. Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa. Paris.
Hercules.
The Louvre Museum contains approximately 500,000 objects and displays 35,000 works of art in 8 curatorial departments, with more than 652,000 square feet dedicated to the permanent collection.
This is the consecration of the Emperor Napoleon and the coronation of the Empress Josephine in Notre Dame Cathedral on December 2, 1804.
David's painting shows the ceremony at which Napoleon crowned himself and his wife Emperor and Empress of the French, in the presence of his family, the Pope, and the dignitaries of the empire. The realistic depictions of the faces and costumes of the 191 figures in the scene distract attention from the artist's skillful reconstruction of the event.
Here, Napoleon Bonaparte visiting the plague-stricken in Jaffa in the 11th of March 1799, after his victorious campaign in Egypt. Bonaparte's expedition to Palestine was ended by the plague that decimated his army.
This one is The Raft of the Medusa by Theodore Jericho.
Liberty Leading the People, by Eugene Delacroix, both elated and frightened by the three-day revolution that overthrew King Charles X. Delacroix depicted the event in all its ambiguity. The horror of the corpses and filth of the rebels are transcended by the passion of the crowd that gathers around the sensual, superhuman allegory of liberty.
This is Psyche Revived by Cupid's Kiss, made of marble in 1793, sculpture by Italian artist Antonio Canova. Psyche, poisoned by the fumes from a flask she was instructed not to open, is on the brink of death. Cupid rushes to her rescue, pricking her with an arrow and reviving her with a kiss.
Here she is, the Venus de Milo.
The Venus de Milo, or Aphrodite of Melos, is an ancient Greek marble sculpture that was created during the Hellenistic period. Its exact dating is uncertain, but the modern consensus places it in the 2nd century BC, perhaps between 160 and 110 BC.
Aphrodite of the Capitoline type. This statue, made of marble, is part of a series of ancient copies which reproduce a famous image of the goddess Aphrodite at her bath. The most well-known example is in the Capitoline Museum in Rome. The Greek original, now lost, is thought to date to the 3rd or 2nd century BC, and itself derives from the Aphrodite of Knidos by Praxiteles. It differs in the more sensual treatment of forms, its exuberant hairstyle, and the more narrative depiction of the modest gesture the goddess makes as she is surprised while performing her ablutions.
This statue of Athena is one of several colossal antique replicas of a famous Athenian sculpture. The discovery at Baiae, near Naples, of fragments of antique plaster models made from the original work indicates that this sculpture would have been a bronze of the same dimensions. It is attributed to the sculptor Cresselis, around 430 BC, although its precise localization in Athens is unknown.
The sleeping hermaphrodite. Hermaphroditus, son of Hermes and Aphrodite. Hermaphroditus rejected the advances of the nymph Salmacis. Then, Zeus agrees to her wish to merge their two bodies into a single being with both genders. The original Greek work, now lost, is attributed to Polycles in about 150 BC. In 1619, Bernini sculpted the mattress beneath the ancient marble statue.
Old Centaur tormented by Eros, Cupid, god of love.
The Grand Sphinx.
The Great Sphinx of Tanis is a granite sculpture of a sphinx, whose date may be as early as the 26th century BC. It was discovered in the ruins of the Temple of Amun-Ra in Tanis, Egypt's capital during the 21st dynasty and the 23rd dynasty.
The Cour Marly of the Louvre, where many French sculptures are exhibited.
Now, we are below ground, where portions of the medieval Louvre are still visible.
The Louvre Palace, which houses the museum, was begun by King Philip II in the late 12th century to protect the city from the attack from the west, as the Kingdom of England still held Normandy at the time. Whether this was the first building on that spot is not known, and it is possible that Philip modified an existing tower.
The Louvre Palace has been subject to numerous renovations since its construction. In the 14th century, Charles V converted the building from its military role into a residence. In 1546, Francis I started its rebuilding in French Renaissance style. After Louis XIV chose Versailles as his residence in 1682, construction work slowed to a halt. The royal move away from Paris resulted in the Louvre being used as a residence for artists under royal patronage.
For example, For generations of craftsmen artists from the Boule family were granted royal patronage and resided in the Louvre. The Louvre and Tuileries Garden.
The Tuileries Garden is a public garden between the Louvre and the Place de la Concorde, created by Catherine de Medici. As the garden of the Tuileries Palace in 1564, it was opened to the public in 1667 and became a public park after the French Revolution. Since the 19th century, it has been a place for Parisians to celebrate, meet, stroll, and relax. During the 2024 Summer Olympics and Paralympics, it was the site of the Olympic and Paralympic cauldron.
The plan of the garden, at the west end, adjoining the Place de la Concorde, is similar to that of Le Nôtre's original plan. The central element is the large octagonal basin, popular with lunching Parisian office workers and children, with miniature sailboats. Two horseshoe-shaped ramps give access to the terraces overlooking the Place de la Concorde.
The Louvre finally became a public museum during the French Revolution. In May 1791, the National Constituent Assembly declared that the Louvre would be a place for bringing together monuments of all the sciences and arts. On August 10, 1792, Louis XVI was imprisoned, and the royal collection in the Louvre became national property. Because of fear of vandalism or theft, on 19 August, the National Assembly pronounced the museum's preparation urgent.
The Louvre glass pyramid, designed by the renowned architect Yeo Ming-pei, serves as the main entrance to the Louvre Museum and has become a symbol of modern Paris. Completed in 1989, the 71-foot-tall pyramid is made of nearly 700 glass panes and stands in striking contrast to the classical architecture of the historic Louvre Palace.
Sphinx. An enigmatic half-human, half-animal creature with the body of a lion and the face of a king.
King Amasis, Sphinx head.
The Sixth Sphinx.
The Department of Egyptian Antiquities of the Louvre, comprising over 50,000 pieces.
It includes artifacts from the Nile civilizations which date from 4000 BC to the 4th century AD. The collection is among the world's largest.
Statues of the goddess Sekhmet.
The department's origins lie in the royal collection, but it was augmented by Napoleon's 1798 expeditionary trip with Dominique Vivant, the future director of the Louvre.
After Jean-François Champollion translated the Rosetta Stone, Charles X decreed that an Egyptian antiquities department be created.
Statues of the goddess Sekhmet.
Crypt of Osiris.
King Ramses III, sarcophage. Sarcophage found at Abu Roach, near Giza.
The lid of the sarcophage of Hor.
It weighs 3.7 tons.
The sarcophage of Hor. It weighs 4.75 tons.
The sarcophage of Nashawi.
The sarcophage of Irobastitute Gentian.
The sarcophage of Mahdia.
Snake shape, mouth opener ritual instrument.
The Mummy mask.
This is called Dana, made in 2007 by German artist Anselm Kiefer.
Dana for Kiefer is the molten lead stem of a blackened, charred sunflower, which seems to sink its roots into the pages of an open book.
From the crown of the sunflower, golden seeds fall onto the blackened pages of the book. The glittering seeds are destined to sprout dreams, hopes, illusions again, even though the book and the sunflower are immobile in a timeless time, the time of death, the time of darkness.
The painting collection has more than 7,500 works from the 13th century to 1848 and is managed by 12 curators who oversee the collection's display. Nearly 2/3 are by French artists, and more than 1,200 are Northern European. The Italian paintings compose most of the remnants of Francis I and Louis XIV collections. Others are in returned artwork from the Napoleon era, and some were bought.
Ice breaking up near Vithoil, painted in about 1880 by Claude Oscar Monet. The winter of 1879 to 1880 was particularly harsh in Paris and its surrounding area. At that time, Monet lived in Vithoil on the banks of the river Seine. He sought to capture the changing effects of the water and the reflections of the sky on the blocks of ice swept along by the river when the thaw came.
In the vicinity of Honfleur, snow, painted in about 1867 by Claude Oscar Monet. Monet was one of the first Impressionist painters to go outdoors in all seasons to paint from nature. This Japanese-inspired landscape was his earliest painting of snow.
Ice on the Seine at Bougival, painted in about 1871 by Claude Oscar Monet.
The Astronomer, painted in 1668 by Johannes Vermeer. The 17th century is the age of scientific revolution. The astronomer studies a celestial globe and there is an astrolabe, possibly of Persian origin, on the table. The man wears a dressing gown similar to a kimono. The Netherlands played a central role in international trade, which explains how Vermeer would have had access to such items.
Johannes Vermeer, born in October 1632 and died on the 15th of December 1675, it was a Dutch painter who specialized in domestic interior scenes of middle-class life.
The Philosopher in Contemplation by Rembrandt.
Castle overlooking a river by Rembrandt.
The Pilgrims at Emmaus, 1648, by Rembrandt.
The Holy Family with Saint Anne, the Mother of the Virgin, by Rembrandt.
Self-Portrait at an Easel, painted in 1660, by Rembrandt.
Portrait of Titus, son of the artist, painted in about 1662, by Rembrandt.
Bathsheba, at her bath, holding King David's letter, based on the Old Testament, Book of Samuel, painted in 1654, by Rembrandt.
Saint Matthew and the Angel, painted in 1661, by Rembrandt.
The Archangel, Raphael, taking leave of Tobit and his family, painted in 1637, by Rembrandt.
Landscape with a Castle, Imaginary View, by Rembrandt.
Self-Portrait with a Cap against an Architectural Background, by Rembrandt.
The Slaughtered Ox, painted in 1655 by Rembrandt. It is a tradition in the Netherlands to paint slaughtered pigs and oxen as they are about to be cut up. Rembrandt transforms the subject. His interest in anatomy borders on his sense of the tragic. The figure, peering out from the top of the stairs, reinforces the sculptural immobility of the carcass.
Self-portrait, bareheaded, painted in 1633 by Rembrandt. With the pose Rembrandt assumes in this self-portrait, the artist pays homage to Renaissance painters. The gold chain evokes gifts that princes would give to their proteges. Rembrandt painted his own portraits not as an exercise in self-reflection, but rather as a study in flesh tones, light, facial expressions.
Character study or portrait of an old man, painted in about 1630 by Rembrandt.
Marly Courtyard.
Cafe, restaurant with Starbucks.
The Hall Napoleon, Visitors Center, with views of museum through the glass pyramid.
The large pyramid serves as the main entrance to the Louvre Museum, allowing light to the underground visitors hall, while also allowing sight lines of the palace to visitors in the hall, and through access galleries to the different wings of the palace.
The pyramid has a total of 673 panes, which are made of 603 rhombi and 70 triangles. 3 sides have 171 panes each, 18 triangular ones on the edges, and 153 rhombic ones arranged in a triangle. The 4th side, with the entrance, has 9 fewer rhombic and 2 fewer triangular ones, giving 160.
This area of the Louvre Museum is called the Carousel du Louvre. It is an underground shopping mall.
The underground shopping mall covers 110,000 square feet. It has 33 stores and 11 restaurants. It was opened in October 1993. Major retail tenants include Sephora, Esprit, the first Apple store in France, Marriage Farés Tea Emporium, Plaisirs de Paris, Swarovski, Perregaux, La Tanneur, and Fossil.
Here is the museum gift shop.
The Louvre Museum gift shop offers a wide selection of unique souvenirs and high-quality items inspired by the museum's extensive art collection. Here, you can find
High-quality reproductions of famous works, such as Mona Lisa, Liberty Leading the People, and Venus de Milo.
posters, prints, and canvas options available, perfect for art lovers wanting a piece of the Louvre at home.
A range of art books, exhibition catalogs, and guides to the Louvre's collections in multiple languages.
illustrated books on art history, famous artists, and special themes, making for both educational and collectible items.
Home decor and accessories items, inspired by iconic artworks, such as pillows, wall decor, vases, and sculptures, miniature replicas of sculptures like Winged Victory and Psyche revived by Cupid's kiss for display.
Every year, the National Association of Artists, created in 1861, organizes its Salon in the Carrousel du Louvre. In 2018, 600 artists exhibited their works in front of about 15,000 visitors in just 4 days. The Salon des Beaux-Arts welcomes painters, sculptors, engravers, photographers, and illustrators, offering its guests a complete overview of the world of contemporary art.
This is the Louvre inverted pyramid. It is a skylight. It may be thought of as a smaller sibling of the more famous Louvre pyramid proper. Yet, turned upside down, its upturned base is easily seen from outside.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through the Louvre. We hope you enjoyed some of the must-see of the Louvre Museum. Let us know in the comments which masterpiece you'd love to see in person. Until next time, safe travels and happy exploring.